Welcome back to the show. Today we have a really interesting program. Remember Survivor? That show that started 20 years ago? That you win $1 million prize and you go on a pirate ship from Disneyland to some island in Fiji and someone wins at the end, voted off the island. That's where that phrase comes from, I suppose. Do you remember Survivor?
Yeah, it came out when we were in high school, right?
Yeah. High school's a blur, but I think it was during that time.
I remember Richard and like saggy skin or something.
Richard. Saggy skin Richard. Sorry, Richard. Saggy skin Richard, who I think was probably a Mormon. I don't know why I think that, but he kind of looked like one. He gets on the show. He looks like he's going to be challenged by some skilled castmates. But he rises to the top. He gets to the end, they vote him off the island, and they light the torch and do the thing and kumbaya, and he wins $1 million. And then, he was on like CBS This Morning and TRL and all these ridiculous, ancient programs.
Did you know that it was originally a Swedish television show called Expedition Robinson? Did you ever see Swiss Family Robinson?
Yes, I love Swiss Family Robinson. I built a fort in the trees at my dad's farm. So, the interesting fact is, even though it's a tired show that people stopped watching years ago after about 2006, it's now had a renaissance. It's popular again. And the hysterical thing is it's popular with 8 to 10-year-olds, even though they don't intentionally target those kids. Why the hell are they watching Survivor? Survivor started before they were even born. I mean, seriously. Like a decade before they were born. Unbelievable. With that said, I'd like to introduce a friend of the show, our expert guest, 9-year-old Lucy. Lucy, did you ever watch the episode, the first one, where that Richard guy won?
Yes, and actually you got it wrong talking about it.
Wrong? Oh.
Yeah. When I was in the green room, backstage, watching, I heard him talking about Richard. And he said that he got voted off and then got the torch stuff and won. That, first of all, doesn't make sense because if you get voted off, you can't win because you're off the island. Unless you there's one season called Edge of Extinction. They go to an island and at the end they get a chance to come back on the island. So actually 2 people got the chance to and got back on.
Wow.
And so that kind of does make sense, but in the first season that probably wasn't a thing.
Thank you, Lucy, for clearing that up. I have a lot of questions, so I'm going to start asking them, and I hope you have the answers. It seems like you're quite an expert. And when was the first time that you saw Survivor? Do you remember?
Probably when I was 8, like you said, 8 to 10-year-olds. I was 8. My friend was watching it and he showed me and I kind of got addicted to it.
How old was your friend, Lucy?
9 or 10.
9 or 10, okay. See, fits in the program there.
I think he's 11 or 12 now, so he's not.
So he's kind of out of the window. 11 or 12-year-olds, they don't like Survivor.
Is he still a fan?
He said he wants to watch the new season, but I don't think he is.
Lucy, if you were on the show, is there any particular way you'd go about it or a strategy you'd employ?
I would use strategy, yes. The strategy I would use, maybe make an ally. Blindside them, I don't know. But, yeah, I could definitely make allies. Take them to the end, and then blindside, say I was never working with you.
Whoa!
Wow. Talk about pulling the rug out under somebody.
Can you elaborate on what blindside means?
Yeah, it's backstabbing. If I made an ally, let's say with Michael, I would say in the beginning, not the first episode, people would get very suspicious. Like in other episodes, people walk away and they're like, wait, where are they? And then they team up with each other. Anyway, so I would say a few episodes in, would you ever want to work with me, team up, and maybe get out all the other players. I'll take you to the end, and we could split.
How about this? What is your favorite season that you've watched?
I've only watched a few seasons. I do love the most recent one, the 39th season, but
Number 39, the one that just happened.
I like all of them.
Who would be your favorite character out of all the shows you've watched?
Oh my god, there's no answer for that because I've watched so many seasons, so many people on so many seasons. There are probably hundreds of people.
Wow.
In the amount of seasons I've watched, there are probably hundreds of people. And I probably can't even remember anybody's names, but I know that someone I know loves a guy named War Dog.
Oh, I've heard of this War Dog. You've talked about War Dog before. Actually, when I was watching it with you, you made us rewind and find an image, a profile of War Dog talking to people because you had to show me him.
Yeah,
What was interesting about him?
He's not my favorite, but I know someone who does have a favorite, and I know who could tell us.
And
It's me.
War Dog.
Yes. Say why.
You like War Dog?
I like the name War Dog.
But you watched the season with War Dog?
I watched one season.
Is that the only season you've watched?
Well, I remember watching the first season, at least an episode or two. I might have watched the final episode.
You saw Richard.
Because it was a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
But
And you wanted to be in the know.
when our resident expert got hooked again, I happened to be here after school at the same time and got hooked on that season 38 or 39. And
Did she influence you to find that season?
yes,
Was
that's
it
what
her
it was
choice?
on, and I just kind of walked into it like a landmine. And they were introducing characters, and it was like, I'm Kelly, I'm Bryce, and it was like, I'm War Dog.
Kelly, Bryce, and War Dog.
And I was like, what did he say?
That is the same season, Age of Extinction, where they go to the island. And you're right, there was a Kelly on.
So in conclusion about our program tonight, I just want to say, unfortunately, I'm not too far down the path of understanding the attraction to Survivor that much. I do understand Lucy's perspective, and I'm so glad she gave it in great detail and gave me an idea of some of the reasoning behind why 8 to 10-year-olds, that very specific group, really love Survivor.